before we realized females could fight as fiercely. Only male hunters protected the Enclave. When the first huntress changed everything, she wanted an acknowledgement of her achievement, and so the distinction remained, unlike the builders and breeders who had always been both genders. They treated their young differently in Salvation as well. Regardless of the threat, brats weren't allowed to fight. But I'd spent too long defending the Enclave to feel comfortable about lying abed while others battled on my behalf. They had built the town like a wooden fortress with strong fortifications and a sturdy gate. A protective wall with walkway and sentry towers kept the freaks out, safeguarding the populace, but I wasn't sure it would hold forever. Both Stalker and I had asked to assess the numbers Salvation faced, and how well the guards drove them off. It seemed like a reasonable request, but the folks in charge, elders who were actually old, preferred that young people spent their time puzzling how to read and cipher numbers. There were also history lessons and endless tests on information that nobody in their right mind would ever be required to know. I found it insulting. If someone already knew how to weave cloth, why would anyone waste time making him learn how to bake bread? It was a waste of effort, but they had rules for everything in Salvation. Breaking them had consequences, which was why I had to be careful. Along with Stalker, I stole through the darkened town, avoiding dogs that would set up a racket. I found it curious that people kept animals for companionship and not food. When I'd asked Mama Oaks when she planned to cook the fat creature that slept in a basket in the kitchen, her eyes almost popped out of her head. Since then, she'd kept her pet away from me, like she suspected I meant to turn him into stew. Clearly, I had a lot to learn. "I smell them," Stalker whispered then. Lifting my head, I sniffed the night wind and nodded. Anyone who had encountered freaks, or muties as they called them topside, wouldn't forget the stench. Rotting meat and oozing sores. Once, a long time ago, they had human ancestors, or so the stories said. But something bad happened, and people got sick. A lot of them died, and some of them changed. The dead ones were lucky, Edmund claimed, but Mama Oaks always shushed her husband when he talked like that. She had some idea that we needed to be sheltered. Her protective instincts made me laugh, considering I'd fought more than most town guards. I paused, listening. Weapons weren't quiet in Salvation, so if the fight had started, I'd hear the boom of their guns. That gave me time to scramble up to the southernmost sentry tower, where Longshot stood watch. He wouldn't run me off with angry words about how I ought to be in bed. Over the past weeks, he'd showed great patience with my questions. Other men said it was none of my business and reported me for unfeminine, improper behavior. More than once I'd found myself in trouble with Mama Oaks over my nocturnal jaunts. As usual, Longshot didn't protest when we slid up the ladder and joined him. From this vantage, I saw by flickering lamplight the land unfolding before me. If I pushed past, I could gain access to the walls, but then his fellow guards would yell at me for getting in the way. I didn't have a gun, so I couldn't shoot freaks anyway. Plus, Mama Oaks would hear about my misdeeds again, which led to extra chores and a lecture about how I wasn't trying to fit in. "You never miss a fight," Longshot said, cocking Old Girl. "Not if we can help it," Stalker answered. "It doesn't feel right. I'm used to helping. How many are there tonight?" "I counted 10, but they're hanging back, just out of range." That information sent a cold chill through me. "Trying to draw you out?" "It won't work," he assured me. "They can prowl outside all they want, but if they get hungry enough, they'll charge, and we'll put 'em down." I wish I shared his confidence in the power of walls for keeping bad things out. Down below, we had barricades, of course, but we hadn't relied on them exclusively. Patrols went out to keep our territory